any topic. You do chemistry, you do the periodic table, it depends on it. You can sit down and learn everything on it.
He will not achieve much if he continues in this way.
Yes, good evening everyone. We have to apologize for yesterday. We had some, I was busy doing other stuff, but today we're gonna talk about education today. How do we see education? What is education? How we define education in the 21st century? How education improves someone's life, and access to education and all of that. So that's what that's what we're discovering today. Discussing today. Cheers.
Cheers, Raul. Cheers.
And by the way, this is a Jamaican brand, okay? Yes. So also, I can't drink Jamaican sing thing. Yes, this is a Jamaican brand. Thanks.
We're actually working on sponsorship right now, and Red Stripe is one of the companies that we've actually reached out to.
Okay. Except nobody.
So all we need to do really is send them a proposal.
Yes.
And you know.
Yes,
so I would like to start it off like this. Raul, if you're not aware of it, was a teacher at Woolmer's. I think that's definitely a good way.
Yes. And Glenmuir, I have to pick up my school.
Glenmuir.
Yes.
What subjects did you teach?
Wow, I thought, wow, it's easy. Spanish.
It's okay.
¿Qué?
¿Qué pasó?
Sí, nada pasa. I taught Spanish at Glenmuir is my alma mater. I taught Spanish there, and then I taught Spanish at Woolman's too, and then I taught English language in Japan. So those are what
So your lifelong career is teaching.
Languages. Yeah. I've always been teaching languages. So.
Did you enjoy teaching?
I enjoyed the enlightening part of the teaching, the administrative stuff, getting papers graded by a certain deadline. Those parts weren't fun, but being in having the opportunity to mold young minds, and showing them a positive way out, or enlightening. I think that's that's an honor for anyone to be able to have any sorts of influence, fiduciary relationship with any kind of, education relationship with any kind of young man. Yeah, what school you went to, John?
I'm a George's old boy, and as a matter of fact, speaking about my schools, I have brought with us my old report cards.
J's and peace. Look on the piece of paper there, Lord.
This was when I was in the military, though. That have nothing to do with this. But
remember that?
Hold on, no, wait now.
Sorry.
Wait, no, wait. Wait, look at this. Signed by my mother.
Wow.
Just to let you know, it says, "Dear Mr. Porter, St. George's College, Winchester Park, North Street, Kingston.
Yes.
Dear Mr. Porter, please be advised that my son Jonathan Mackay, who is a student of St. George's College, Class B, has contacted chickenpox. He will be away from school from March 2nd to the 16th, 1994, as doctor's certificate will accompany him on his return to school."
Wow, 1994.
Yeah, and I have brought this out as a former teacher.
Yes.
I think you would be honored to know that I was not a model student. And you spoke... Hold on now.
Let me see the orange something there.
You spoke mathematics. Oh, this is a poem I wrote when I was in school.
Wow.
Yeah. I still have that. I have my drawings. My mother kept this very good record, and I wanted to share it.
This is a very educational poem about a dog. Listen, you'll be enlightened tonight. My Dog by Jonathan McCoy.
Thank you.
He sits on a mat, chases the cat, eats the rat.
If it's misspelled, it's okay.
He bites up my bat and almost killed the cat. Because of the rat, he tripped the mat and fell on the cat. Because the frog, he went under the log to get the frog.
It's amazing with the way how Raul enunciates the
No, it's good.
Wow.
It's good. Do you know how old I was?
Yes, it's very grade 3.
Yeah, yeah, it's very, very grade 3 work. But I don't want later. Listen, later you're gonna go through my report card because you have to see how bad I was. Spanish. Actually, I got a C in Spanish for here. But here's the funniest part. I pulled this certain area here. Her name is Mrs. Jackson.
Wow.
Yeah, my wife's name before Makai was actually Jackson.
Yes.
This is what this lady had to write for me, and this is, I'm not proud of this by any means.
Okay. Yeah.
All my report cards up until says I was a class clown, which is, I guess, understandable by now. But she writes this: Jonathan needs to be more serious about his lesson. He spends much time distracting other pupils. He will not achieve much if he continues in this way.
All right, so back to the topic at hand. Raul, as a teacher, how do you feel critiquing students in such a manner? Do you think that sometimes helps, or deters them from their?
Because that was a negative. Honestly,
negative.
It's a very negative comment.
She said he will not achieve much if he continues in that way. Basically, it's hard to know how much someone will achieve. I know it's a fair comment to be encouraging. For example, my Miss Leo, big up Miss Leo at Wilmers. She's been at Wilmers for a long while, and she's one of my role models as a teacher. She said whenever you're complimenting children, now they would say Wilmers, children. Yes, proper English. And then when you're trying to give a critique on someone, whether it's a child or an adult, you need to do a compliment sandwich.
Yeah.
You start off with something good, then you say the bad thing what you want to do. Then end with however so and so. That was not that was an upside down sandwich.
Yeah.
She should have. All teachers have their own approach, but she should have said however. There should have been an however there, unless there was no redeeming quality. But I doubt you must have had redeeming quality.
No, I remember this teacher quite well. I remember her having a very strong reputation amongst the other students.
She was stern.
What do you mean by stern? I would like to.
She was stern as in
stern. Yes, stern is a good word. And in my opinion, I don't know. I'm not a teacher. I haven't been a teacher. I'm sure on the profession side it's different. But I feel that teaching also needs to have a level of compassion as well.
Yes. Yes.
You know. And I can honestly say now that I am older, I believe I had a very strong learning disability because all of my grades in Jamaica. When I look back at it, if my son had come home with these grades, I would be extremely upset. And I don't remember my parents being upset. Not necessarily upset, but I almost feel like I should have been scolded more at school. And I'm not, and in all fairness, maybe I was, but I turned a blind eye to it.
I agree. You see, the thing is, back in the day, and even now, there are certain learning disorders which are not properly diagnosed. However, there are some that are overdiagnosed. There are some children back in our day when we were going to school. You never have no ADD, which it is a real thing. However,
that's what I had.
If you had ADD,
I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, but if you had ADD in school back in the day, teacher would just say you're a troublemaker. However, as a teacher at Wilmers Boys, I see where kids use that. Two different. You have people who don't get it diagnosed and get it addressed, and you have the people who get it where it's over addressed. There are some children at school because the doctor diagnosed them with this. They do no work at all. It's an excuse. However, if someone has ADD, you need to try to tell them that you have this. However, you still can function.
How do you teach? How do you teach somebody with ADD? I think we have a question online.
So someone, or more of a comment, someone says two comments. Someone says Jamaican teachers are underfunded, undersupported, and are demoralized. Sometimes they are inexcusable, but they are under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Another person says some people are meant to be teachers just like some are meant to be parents.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask, in your time from being a student to being trained to be a teacher, while you were going through, is it teachers college they did for you?
I actually didn't go to teachers college. I actually learned on like the job.
OJT.
On the job. Okay.
Yeah,
so while you were training, was there at any point something mentioned like how to address students that may have, like an attention deficit or certain special needs?
Surprisingly, looking back at it now, I do believe I saw that I was I had ADD in school.
Yeah.
When I got older, I realized that I had bipolar depression, right?
Yeah.
And the times when I was being, looking back at it now.
No, let her do her thing.
Looking back at it now.
They run this place.
She's below the table again. Okay.
That's her spot.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, Nisha wants to say hello. It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
What was I saying?
So looking back now, yeah.
Oh, I was saying. Oh shoot! Come on. I was saying, looking back at it now, I was also called the class one because I could not sit steady. The thing is, I knew I was a bright child. I knew when I was in primary school. When I moved, I went to 3 primary schools.
Yeah.
So by the time I moved to one school, like it took a couple months to catch up, but I did catch up.
Yeah.
So the way I learned how to deal with students with ADDs or ADHDs because I saw myself I saw younger me in those children, so I knew how to approach it differently. The fact is that many people won't admit is that school, formal education and schooling is not for everyone.
Yeah.
But again, someone make a good point. In Jamaica, we don't have the resources to have training and so.
Well,
teachers not in teachers college in Jamaica, you get trained for your subject. There's not a lot of money going to how to deal with kids with psychological problems. There's not counseling. Or sometimes it's only the guidance counselor teacher get that. So there's not enough money to train teachers properly to deal with those.
No, with that being said, I have some statistics here. It's funny you mentioned that. Of course, there's not enough money to really pay the teachers well.
Yes.
I'm sure if there was, they'll be properly compensated.
Yes.
But then again, how do you properly compensate somebody that dedicates their life to this? Because it literally is almost like going into the Peace Corps. It's their entire life. Here you have it. And this is just off the chart. I didn't go with the #1 country. I went with #2, which I thought was interesting. For your GDP spending was Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
#4 was Cuba.
Okay.
Number 10 was St. Kitts. This is out of worldwide.
Okay.
Number 10 out of the world was St. Kitts.
Okay.
Number 28 was Barbados. St. Vincent was at 29. Guyana was at 36.
You mean per capita? What
the GDP, gross domestic, what they spend on education. Out of their GDP, what they spend on education.
Okay.
And these are the I'm gonna show you this. Guyana was 36.
Okay.
Jamaica was 46. The only person that was lower than Jamaica was Grenada.
Okay.
For West Indian country, they were placed 52nd in the world. Now the funny thing about Grenada is Grenada has a 97% rate of people that can read.
Okay.
What is Jamaica?
Trinidad, let me get to that. Trinidad has a 99%. Cuba has 99. In order of who got ranked.
Yes.
St. Kitts is 99. Barbados, St. Vincent. St. Vincent has 95%. Guyana has a 87%. And Jamaica is also at 87%.
Yes.
Now, in all fairness,
you realize the correlation between Jamaica and Guyana, though?
Yeah.
Two of the poorest countries in the Caribbean.
And you also realize Trinidad is currently working on becoming a
first world country.
So they would invest more in education because that would be
access to education is an indicator of human development index.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just it's like I said, it's the statistics.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's almost like a wake up call as well. And I can only speak from my experience growing up in Jamaica that I up till today, and I can be as honest with you, I have trouble reading out loud. I didn't realize how far behind I was in terms of my reading ability.
Okay.
I knew it was bad, but I didn't know how bad I was.
Okay.
Until I came to the US and I paid my way through college.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to be in the military. So after the military, they gave me the GI Bill.
Yes.
So I went to college and I had to start at the bottom. And I went, it's almost like I never even went to school in Jamaica. They had to teach me sentence construction and how to separate dependent and independent clauses.
Okay.
And I took that and I graduated cum laude. Now here you had a kid that was the class clown and he was mean to not mean to everybody, distracting everybody. I was held back twice. I was held back 2 times. Now all of a sudden I graduated cum laude.
Went to?
Whole field prep.
Okay.
Whole field prep.
Cuba produces more doctors per capita than that. Yes, they do. Than that of its wealthier neighbors. They do. My dad actually went to med school in Cuba.
Yes, and even though we have many students going there. But you see again with that, you name the problem and you name the source of the problem.
Yeah.
Because on another hand, Jamaicans, when you come to the Caribbean islands who come here, Jamaica's performance, kids from Jamaica who come here and go to high schools perform better than the other islands. So it's a myriad. It's a many things. But what you just said a while ago, and the fact that you name the countries and the numbers, it goes exactly along the economic path of all the countries. Yes, Jamaica should be doing much better, but that's going to happen when we more develop more economic growth and development, because the more money you have, the more money you spend on education, health, and those things. So it's very bad, but it is somewhere. It is when I'm saying the word cut out already. But first of all we need the money first.
Yeah.
And that's our next topic. The one about corruption and things that go on in Jamaica. But it's good, John, that you were able to turn around a situation like that. That's a very good thing.
Well, no, but not only that, it's not a good thing. I didn't realize how far behind I was, and even till today, I knew I was always smart, and
so
I always.
You blame that on the Jamaican education system?
Because
Jamaicans do well here.
Okay, I can't. I'm not gonna put any blame on my parents. That's not for me to do, because they tried to educate me. I got paid private lessons and private tutors and everything. It's almost one of those things where I applied myself just enough to get by.
Yeah.
You know, and quite frankly, I even made it into the school of my choice when I applied myself in 6th grade. So I can't blame my parents. And education is one of those things that unless you're ready for, it doesn't make sense. Unless you're ready to learn and willing to learn and understand, it don't make sense.
Well, I do have to ask, because Raul did say that Jamaican children do well here because our education system, even though we don't get the funding, our children do get a much better education.
Yes, for the money that we have.
Yeah, than for what is given in American schools, and that is a proven fact. However, did you know that most immigrant children coming to this country, even from English-speaking countries such as Jamaica, are automatically put back 1 grade further back than what their age is?
Yes.
And also some, even if English is their primary language, we have to do ESL.
Yes, for real.
That is something I had to do when I came here.
Yes, they put a lot of children back, and because they're assuming that our system isn't on par with them. But even the video I did the other day was about how Jamaican students do math. There are people coming from all over the world that work. Yeah, but the Jamaicans are saying that work though by singing your timetable like that.
Yeah,
we learn it without even using a calculator. But what I want to say, Johnny, I believe that you said it wasn't diagnosed, right? So therefore, on one hand, your parents weren't aware that it was they didn't know it was the ADHD. It wasn't diagnosed. You went to the doctor?
I went to a professional when I was younger.
And what did
what it was my principal, while I was going through prep school, realized that the engine's turning. But somehow the gears aren't moving the car forward. You know what I mean? And it was an overactive engine. So I remember being assessed by I don't know who it was, but the lady was giving me, blocks and pictures and saying, what's the difference here, and
So, the thing is, in many cases, one thing is it being diagnosed. That's one thing, but the ability to even have it be diagnosed or taken care of is something that a lot of people can't really afford it. And then now, and at school now, when you go to school with that now, teachers, if you as a teacher weren't trained to identify something, you can't identify something you weren't trained to identify. So
no, it's true.
It is an unfortunate situation, but it is a situation where again it takes training on the school's part where they don't have the money for training, and it takes a parent's eye to see.
I was going to say, I feel in that situation, John, yours specifically, it sounds like parents would be more...
I'm not going to blame my parents.
No, blame them. But
I'm saying they would be more instrumental in pushing you forward than the teachers.
I was a stubborn kid.
Did the teachers get a thing at school that you had ADHD because at school?
I don't. I was never diagnosed with ADHD. Okay, so and even when I tell I think I've mentioned to people that I've had ADHD, and you get the typical response, "Oh, that shit don't exist."
Yeah.
You get the typical response, like they're not, know.
But we can talk about that. That's the next we can talk about that when we're talking about discipline and so in schools too. So that's a very good way to see it. But even education itself, I was looking at the Merriam-Webster dictionary, right? And there are many means of education. You know, education. We're talking about it in the car, where we can say some people look at education of going to university. Some look at it as having an elementary education. Like Merriam-Webster said, education is the action or process of educating or being educated. That's the more worded form. But an interesting definition I found was education is an enlightening experience. What do you think about that? About being enlightened? You believe?
No, yes, I like that.
It's because you don't really have to go to school and do academics.
No,
to be educated.
You're right. Well, you know, and I'm glad you brought that up because I have a very strong attraction to history. I love history. I love learning about history. And I can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, there are some topics that I just delve even deeper into.
And those are things that weren't taught in school.
Those aren't things that weren't taught. It's just things I picked up.
To
enlighten myself. I mean, you know, I can't stop learning. I love learning. As a matter of fact, if it really interests me, it's almost like an addiction. But as a kid, I really didn't care less. I could care less about what they were teaching. I could care less about what's going on.
Yeah.
You know,
I did a funny thing. You know, I didn't do well in school either. Like people would see me.
But I feel like you have the same. You would have been diagnosed with it too.
Yeah, but my thing was that nowadays, when I was teaching at Wolmer's, I told him that, listen to me, the most important part of education is having access to it. You see, with the advent of social media, and when I was teaching Spanish at Wolmer's boys or Glenmuir, you see me tell them, say, well, YouTube thing, they just come and say, the YouTube thing is a good thing. If I try to teach, you know, for example, I teach you the past tense in Spanish, and you don't get it. You can go home any day and type past tense in Spanish on YouTube and sit down while you play your game and learn it. So easy. We never have that at school.
No, we
never have. Like, for example, my problem in school was my mother had 3 of us, and I didn't have most of my textbooks. I didn't have most of. So the thing is, people ask me how come I start writing now and write poem and in literature. In high school, I wasn't in literature because I didn't have the literature books. Almost every exam in literature I get a 58. Why? Because I can't study for something I can't read out from. So when I hear people talk about in the classroom, I kind of write down notes to the exam. So things
you never got the books, huh?
I didn't have a lot of the books, because my mother couldn't afford all the books. If the books weren't on rental, most likely I wouldn't have it. So I did well in 6th form because in 6th form things kind of get better for my mother, and for 6th form was one of the first time I had almost all of my books but my mother ensured that whatever I could get, I could get. But nowadays, the reason I'm saying that now is that because nowadays, if a child doesn't have a book, if there's any topic you're learning in school is on YouTube. Any topic. You do chemistry, you do the periodic table, it depends on it. You can sit down and learn everything on it.
And especially since you've been in that environment where you were in a post-YouTube teaching environment, it's helped the school?
It's helped the school because you realize these days you have more kids. When it comes to CXC and CAPE exam now, you hear this guy, someone just tagged me in a post about this guy from Glenmuir who left Glenmuir with 24 subjects. I don't remember his name, but I'm like, back in the day you wouldn't have time because you have to have book. And study him. You can do an entire topic. You can study for CXC on YouTube, and anybody out there listen to me if you have children, so you can register for CXC and use YouTube. All you need is a syllabus. All you need is a syllabus, and each topic you type it in on YouTube. And you have thousands of people that teach it.
If
you want ADHD type of person, you have somebody who will teach for ADHD people.
No, that's
perfect. If you have a fast learner, you have people that go fast. And if we had that in school, maybe we could do better. But no, access to education now is more. There's more access to education now. We don't determine who have the book and who not have the book.
All right. So now, along with access to education, one of the things that I noted when I moved to this country was for people going to school here, of course, access to education, it's made a lot easier.
Yes.
The school bus comes to pick you up, and I remember knowing kids who walked 5-6 miles to go to school every damn day. So John don't know about that cousin from there was
you're still coming at this uptown thing.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying there was no school bus. There were kids, you know, they take the taxi. They have to walk down the lane and take the taxi to school. Then and they have one uniform. You have to pay for your uniform. You have to pay for your textbooks. You see one day, John, when you were talking about this. Yeah. You see one day when Jamaica get, maybe in our lifetime when Jamaica gets to that place where we prioritize our resources more than we pocket, that's gonna be a glorious day. I'm sad, I'm pessimistic about Jamaica. Listen to me. I'm not being overly pessimistic about Jamaica, but I'm being pessimistic about Jamaica. Why? Because Jamaica has been in the same spot for a long time now. Everybody comes say, yo, Jamaica, I'll get to first word by them time here. No. Look at Jamaica now. Right now, when I was going to high school, I went to Glenmuir. I moved 6 times, whatever. That's not the responsibility of the school to find. You understand? Yeah. But there are people in rural Jamaica now. It better now because you have better transport. But back in the day, getting to school was a challenge too. Yes. My mother had to walk 8 miles to and from school, from Smithville to Frankfield back in the day. That's what I'm thinking for like where I live, because I lived in the country. Like my part of the girl is there's no like to get to even the school. It's not like the taxis run on the main road, but they run up to the lane where the school was located for the students. And those kids to have to be there early. Some children would wake up at like 5 in the morning, get dressed and get out. And I think, do you feel, but they still go to school, they still try their best to get their education. Yeah. In contrast to where here in America, I think it's if you're, over half a mile at the school, you have to take the bus and you can't walk, and people have even sued the school because they live just over a half a mile and the bus refused to, you know, so like, is that something that you think if we had that in Jamaica, do you think we would kind of fall into the same kind of, do you think education is more appreciated because you have to go through such a struggle to get it, or?
And you know what, I realize the people who actually leave the forest to go to school, they end up doing better because maybe they appreciate it.
That is very
they appreciate it.
Or maybe while they're walking to school, them say, "Damn, I don't want to do this for my kids."
Right, and then the better.
Maybe they sit back and they realize how much of a struggle. You know, and you have a point there because I don't think, and you know, it's a bit shameful, in a sense. I would say I did grow up relatively privileged than most people on the island itself, and you know, if you didn't have any money in the school that I was at before high school, I mean, when I went to high school, I went to George's, where by that time everybody around you is mixed. Like the thing about high school was different, because when I was in prep school, I was more or less sheltered. And you know, it's sad. But we kind of look down on the poorest person at the school. And I don't know whether that's just something innate in human beings, or I don't know whether it's something that's taught. But looking back at my childhood, I wish somebody would have at least told me everybody's equal, everybody's the same, and just because this person takes the bus to school doesn't make them any less than you are, or doesn't give them the same opportunities as you. But in the same token, being amongst us, the privilege, she performed better than most of us. And she applied herself, and that's the thing about school, you know, anybody can succeed as long as you apply. I don't think unless you're seriously have a mental issue, if you can apply yourself, you will do good.
Yes, and some people, and that's the other thing, some people are the basic form of education. People need to, back in the day, I said the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's the main thing you need.
But arithmetic is with an A.
It's a thing.
Never mind. I was playing blonde for like 3 seconds.
What I'm doing is, it's a training. Training is, nowadays, there are so many people in Jamaica, and even here too, anywhere in the world, Caribbean, Jamaica, Africa, who are earning more doing a trade or a skill rather than someone who goes to Yeah, you know the traditional university and thing because back in the islands, and it's not a bad thing, you know. Back in the islands, you're taught to go to school and do well, and doing a trade was like a bad thing back in the day.
Yeah.
If you're not good, me go send you go do one trade.
People still look at it like they think the only careers are like doctor, lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But nowadays, because you see like a man now we are doing plumber thing or doing nails pan Instagram and so them people, there's some girl now who them in a high school and them can do nails right now. Yeah. They might go our community college go get trained for that alone, but them not go waste their money per se go university because university isn't a need. Yeah. I think you should go to school based on what you want to do. But Jamaican parents, doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. Yeah. There's no other.
You know, and that's a sad thing because somebody like yourself and me, had we paid more attention to the arts and what we can get out of the arts, especially with the strong musical.
Back in the day, maybe knowing because negative. They weren't. Nowadays, if I didn't know me, I go to school, me I would have definitely go to university.
Someone just made a good point. They said entrepreneur is the new doctor.
Yes.
Everyone who wants to be a business owner. We spoke about this last week. So my question is though, I personally feel that in Jamaica, we should focus more on trade because a lot of these people are going to UE and UTech and they come out and there is no job.
Well, that's something I wanted to talk about too. But you know, and that's the saddest thing that we have going on. The job market is stifled, and it's gonna remain stifled as long as we have our leaders with no vision.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I don't know what's gonna come first, the chicken or the egg. Cause do you take that GDP, push it into education, hoping that these students are going to create jobs, or do you create the jobs and train for them?
Yeah. It has to be.
That's a tough one, you know.
It's tough because, and you know why it might be impossible to address it from both directions, because both direction requires funding and capital. But the funny thing is Jamaica's debt doesn't allow us to.
No, I know.
It's based on how whatever we're spending now we barely manage.
I've heard that
out of $1, out of every $1
we spend 80 cents.
80 now?
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh wow, it's terrible now.
Because over 50% of our
80,
IMF debt is now held by China.
Yes. So right now we have what we have to do.
But
Jamaicans
China
have to be resourceful.
But China has also opened up colleges in Jamaica as well. My stepfather gave me a tour of UE in Mona, and he showed me some of the buildings that China built. So I don't think China, yes, is holding our debt, but I don't think somebody that really wants to keep you down is going to give you the ability to make money.
Okay, so do you think this is a completely
so I can't
different...
burn China for that.
We'll talk about the China thing later, but I do have to say, even though they're building schools, we're in debt to them, and if we default to their payment,
take everything.
I'm not.
Belongs to
listen,
them.
I'm not. I'm not saying what they're doing is right, but I don't want to vilify them as well.
For comments, Sims Art says, because when you're poor, you're focused better. Most of your blood's going to your brain and not split between brain work and breaking down the food.
Yes.
Another person says, more people find that they can turn a hustle into a business and not a need for much education for that, just ambition.
Yes.
Which is true.
Well, not only that, like, look at a college degree. What good is that college degree going to do for you without work experience? Many people are looking for the OJT, the on-the-job training and work experience. A college degree is only probably going to get you an interview at most.
All right, and then also another person says, I agree about people getting a trade. However, people must pay these people when they acquire their services.
Yes,
do you find that that's an issue? Like after, even though you go through the training and everything for the trade, do you think that in Jamaica maybe the people who are going into trades feel they're not being paid for their services?
I think they're not being paid as, but most people who are going into trade in Jamaica are doing entrepreneurship. But I think what they're saying is that when you get employed after doing a trade, you're not getting the amount of money. But the funny thing is that having a trade and having hands-on experience. Yeah. If I got Heart Trust NTA, I'm have to big up Heart Trust NTA. You understand? They send up people like cooks and everything. Yeah. If you got Heart Trust NTA, all right, and you go UE, the person who got Heart Trust NTA might get one work long time before the person who go UE or UTech. The thing is, if the trade thing now, I believe if you do a trade, you can start a business from your hands. From your hands in Jamaica. You know, in Jamaica, you know, so even though you're supposed to pay a tax or so, a Jamaican can hustle up them little thing without having to go through all them. So trade is better.
Lots of look at it. Trade make more sense.
Yes,
because you go to college and you come out with give me a degree.
Me no want to talk down about degree now because
I'm not going to talk down about a degree.
Okay.
But some of these degrees, I'm not looking at them. I'm saying, what good is that going to do you in the real world?
But the person's still good in them. So I don't really want.
Yeah.
The person's still good in them.
Do you think that in Jamaica then what we should do maybe is, like for instance, if you look between like the whole St. Elizabeth and like, you know, Mandeville, like that whole area, there are so many high schools in that area. Do you think some of those schools would benefit, or it would benefit the populace if some of those schools turned into particularly trade training high schools?
But what trade do you teach?
At a trade department. I was at a trade department.
Yeah, at a trade department or
people who want to do academics, and people do trade. Yeah. I believe that it's a high school from first to third form is crucial.
Yeah.
But from fourth form, if you decide to listen to me, if I want to become one fashion designer, why am I forgot to do chemistry and biology and Spanish and whatever, you can go in a clothing and textile. Back in the days when people usually look down upon home econ clothes and textile. Right now in Jamaica, more people are in high school now.
Yeah.
Home economics and those things, the registration for them has go sky high because people realize that if me finish, I'm in my community and I can bake one cake for a wedding.
Or make a dress for a dance.
And that money that you get one, make one just want to dance or go into one competition. Otherwise, your mother would have to go work hard for sending money for save up. Then figure what the pay them again? Student loan. Put up a little house.
You're right.
As collateral more use. What word name again? A collateral more say?
Collateral.
Use as collateral, and then when you don't know if you come back and pay back. While it don't take a quarter, 1/5 of that for go out in Archers NTA or learn for so. You understand? You make school uniform to grow them in the community.
That would be a good thing.
Yeah.
So like to push a trade program into schools.
Yeah.
Into the schools.
Agree.
I think so as well, because I feel like there's
But not only that, I think we also need to be honest and forward thinking to think what trades will be needed within 5 years, 10 years, like industries that are gonna grow.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's things being taught in schools that is not even gonna come close to helping you.
All right. Now, as a teacher, or a former teacher, do you feel that with John saying the industry changing and people's need as a nation will change, do you feel with teaching being a lifelong career, do you feel, let's say you've been teaching for 15-20 years and the direction of the nation is changing, do you think teachers have that support to go back and get retrained or to learn how to move with the tide?
To be honest, even though with the limited resources, there's a branch of Ministry of Education, or if not, there's branches of school that when I was going, I'm going to talk about Woolmans. When I was going to Woolmans in my last year at Woolmans, there was this IT course that you could do if you wanted to stay back. You could do it.
Yeah.
So there are some schools, and Ministry of Education is trying to get teachers to get into more tech. It's not going as fast as we want because again we're not having money, unfortunately. But Jamaica, even though they're not move fast enough, they are moving in the way of getting teachers retrained in more tech savvy stuff.
But no, another thing, but a lot of the tech savvy stuff now is going straight mobile phones. We'll get to that question shortly. What's the percentage of children that actually have cell phones?
In Jamaica, more than at least 90% of
90%. So what I'm trying to say is, use a cell phone, and you're not gonna. I'm sure it is not going to take a lot of money if you use a cell phone as a teaching aid. So tech savvy, yes, but use the tools you already have available.
Yes.
You know, all right, go ahead.
I use it for. Go ahead, sorry.
No, they have a question coming.
Yeah, it's pretty relevant to what you were just saying, Raul. It says Jamaican government is also rolling out coding classes to kids as young as 5 to allow Jamaica to compete in a job industry which is currently leaving them behind.
Yes.
This is very true, but not in every school. But I know it's something that
it's a grassroots thing they are getting to because of the money again. But younger and younger, because remember, it's Jamaica. Jamaica needs to be more proactive. We are very reactive nowadays. Yeah, go ahead with that question.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your thought, and we'll get to the question.
Because what Jamaica is doing now is very good in terms of 5-year-old. Because when my mother was buying, because say it's about 2003 or 2004, tablet was a good thing between 2003 and 2014 and 2015. When my little niece was born in say 2014 or 2015, right? My mother bought her a tablet for her first birthday. And we would say, like, looking at a child, how she's gonna use a tablet, and that has been the most the smartest thing my mother did for my niece.
Kids, because they'll learn it a lot faster than we do.
And their brains right now. There was a study the other day there that kids nowadays, their brains are much bigger than our brains were.
They are. Well, that's a part of evolution. If you want to save that for another topic too. But boy, let me tell you, the having a tool like a mobile device or notepad is very important because you could just keep feeding your brain. All right, what was the question?
All right, so the person said that what they need to teach about also is about credit and financing, so gaining financial freedom. So along with, I say, the IT part of it, how do you feel that the education system in Jamaica or the West Indies prepares you for being what I would just sum that up as being a responsible adult? Knowing like your responsibilities. I mean, I know here in the Americas they really don't even tell you about taxes. You kind of discover that on your own.
They don't tell you about that because you're either going to be in charge of the system or part of the system. There's people out there that are profiting from the ignorance of others. You know, those are people that are money lenders. They're teaching the money lenders to lend money, and the poor kids are not teaching them nothing because they want them to drop into that financial trap. So they're not gonna you know, they need an industry to live. So they're not gonna do that.
Right. So a lot of people are saying that they agree and that that's something that should be brought up. So maybe in the economics class
they can taught, because economics is but again, maybe economics can be taught at an early age, but recently, back in the days, economics was like a sixth form subject. They have economics in 6, you know, in Jamaica, and that was when I was started teaching at 2006. That economics class to normal people want to do it in 60.
Well, many rich parents, that's what they send their kids to college for. Economics, because then they're gonna have to manage the money.
Yes. Economics is one of those. A lot of economics students in university don't finish in them 3 years because economics is like people do business administration, you do management of business, but economics, because you have to do economics and statistics.
No, statistics kill you.
Keep people back at you extra semester or so.
Statistics. When I did statistics, I'm glad I didn't have to go that deep into statistics because that was a killer.
All right, so I'm gonna name off 4 subjects. And both from the teacher and the student point of view, you respond and tell me how you think this either is needed or if we should drop it or put more emphasis on it. Geography.
What do you think, John?
More emphasis.
Yeah, more emphasis. You need to know your world you live in.
I think Jamaica is so much in a box that they're not. Well, not really no, because with the advent of the internet and sharing.
Because enough Jamaican students can name more states than people who live here.
No, that I know. America's
religion.
Drop.
Teach spirituality in terms of instead of religion.
Social studies.
Definitely need
that. You need to keep that.
Okay. And also arts.
Yeah, I think the arts is important because.
Do you think the Jamaican schooling system puts enough emphasis on it, or more?
Yeah, there's enough arts cause in Jamaica. Most people who go to UWI end up in the faculty of arts and education.
Okay.
You see me in Jamaica, I almost put the H in me. Heart.
You really was going to that?
Yeah, because I think of arts as NTA. Art, Jamaica has emphasize your H's.
You ignorant ass.
Arts, which includes history, Spanish, all those stuff, humanities and arts. Yeah, Jamaican children are prepared for that because a lot of kids do history, and history was a compulsory part of it.
Let's just throw a fifth one in there, just for discussion.
Yeah.
Do you feel Jamaica needs to put more emphasis on being bilingual or multilingual within their schools?
You know me start with that already.
Well, I think they should. I don't have the gift for learning languages, but we also need to export.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to leave Jamaica itself. I'm all for Jamaica's growth, but because Jamaica is a island that does huge tourism, we have many foreign visitors coming in, and the world right now is becoming so small that you're gonna need translators. You're gonna need, tour guides. You're gonna need people that are bilingual.
The thing about Jamaica, and this is the argument for Jamaican bilingualism, which is Jamaica is gonna start off really late again. Look at the geography. Jamaica, apart from the United States, Jamaica don't really have any English-speaking neighbors. We have a Spanish here, so we have Spanish all around us. And I don't know why Spanish wasn't. And you see what you say about not being a good at foreign languages. However, if you start learning foreign languages as a baby, you don't realize you're learning a foreign language. So a gift of learning languages doesn't matter that way because. You don't know you're learning a foreign language, so you grow up being bilingual. Just like how Latino kids here, their mother talk to them in a Spanish, them talk fluent Spanish, but when them go to school, them talk in English. Jamaica needs to start. Then again, the money is the problem, but with Cuba and Jamaica, that trade thing, we can have a thing where we can have a lot of people get trained just to go to Cuba to go teach English, and enough Cubans come here to go learn Spanish. But the third, okay, thanks. The next important language to learn in Jamaica right now from baby is Mandarin.
Yes.
No, I was going to say that Chinese is very important.
Mandarin should be the main subject foreign language. Mandarin and Spanish, we need those two.
Yeah, because once you get a good grasp of that, at least, then you're going to attract.
Because with the Chinese finances that are being pushed into our country, Mandarin should be pushed.
Yes,
I feel even our politicians should take Mandarin.
Yes, beginners Mandarin class.
We really at least something.
I'll have them start off with English first. Let them learn English first, and then they can do Mandarin.
Topic, and then I'll have you guys, do your input and your outlook for the future. Someone says parents need to be more active in their kids' education. Don't just send them to school without getting involved. Do you feel in Jamaica the parents are not as involved or more involved as they are in the American school system?
I would say in Jamaica they're way more involved. If they're not involved enough, in Jamaica they're way more involved, because even though some Jamaican students can go to school and come back with them not performing well or whatever, most Jamaican pitney may then come back with a bad report come home when they don't get whapped. So a lot of especially poorer parents are involved in their students' education.
Speaking of bad report cards, I have a long standing history. Oh, quit playing, Raul. Don't tell me your own is worse than that. No. You're looking at the wrong side. Hold on. Wait.
So we're coming into the final minutes here, and I just wanted to hear from each of you. Just a summary on how you feel, what you think should be done, and what the outlook is for education. We'll start with Raul.
First of all, we can't do anything without money. So there's gonna have to be some sort of give and take, because we need money to make money. We need to invest in certain aspects of education. If learning disabilities, you understand? So learning disabilities, foreign language education and technology. So learning disabilities, foreign language education, and technology and entrepreneurship. However, if we don't have the money, we can't do these. So when you don't have any money, what you have to go do? Barter. Find a country who's developing too and get that country who's good at one thing to get there. Have a exchange program where you have those people from those countries come here and teach. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. And get like a stipend, and so just like what Colombia and Jamaica are doing. Cuba does it. So get more Cuban people here to teach Spanish. Get more Chinese here to teach Mandarin. When it comes to technology, get a country who are Jamaica, because Jamaica helped a lot of people in the past. So we need to have a way where we can work on these while not spending the money we don't have. Right. And then later on when we have money, then we can spend on them.
Okay, and then any tips on how to get parental involvement done?
First of all, a parent should go. This is the main thing, and I'm gonna say this because my mother couldn't do it because I lived so far. At one point when I was going to Glenmere High School, I lived in Portmore before the Olaba bypass.
Wow.
So I had to journey. From Greater Portmore to Maypen every day for at least 5 years. So so in that my mother couldn't go to PTA meetings, and PTA is the most important aspect of a child's involvement in school. Like my mother's heart was there, she was involved in my thing, but she couldn't make it to PTA. So for those people who live near school, I can make it to PTA. Don't go because you don't want to go. Find a way to go to PTA meetings. That's the most important thing.
And John, from the point of view of a student, how do you feel?
About what?
For education in the country, where it's heading, and what more can be done in parental involvement.
Well, education in Jamaica, they need to take advantage of the tools that's readily available for them and the tools that students are acquiring, like cell phones. Let's start. I think it'll be nice if they started moving a lot of classes, not necessarily online, but having teachers give lectures online and having kids readily sharing them. That way the stuff you learned for class today, you can watch it at home and hopefully help you with your homework. Because I would get distracted easily, and if I knew I had that tool, it would work out definitely to my favor. And then also, I think as a country, we should figure out what is going to be needed within the next 5 years and what we as Jamaica can do as an industry. Because we're an island, we're surrounded by water.
We have resources.
We have resources, you know, and then a big problem that's coming up into this world is not only the resources even becoming more scarce, and also our environment seems to be under attack.
Yes.
I think we need to also stress environmental education, and then hopefully that will inspire some children to come out and after school do something to help the environment and make an industry out of that. I think that'll be a good thing to place emphasis on for the island of land of wood and water named by the Arawaks.
All right, awesome. So that's pretty much any final words you guys want to squeeze in there? Or from you guys,
yeah, Mrs. Jackson, I'm famous. And yes, I am the class clown. I was the class clown, and I'll be making money from being the class clown. Humbly appreciate it. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. I think that's where you're going to find us most of the time. Raul went to soca this weekend, so I'm surprised he's even here today and not Mashup to be on this video. I'd like to thank you for coming on show today with an immense headache and sipping our nice red stripe.
Yes. All right, guys. So thank you so much. You guys always have a great week. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.